Because because capitalism exploits labor, and it's always looking to grow and exploit even more labor. Once you've exploited labor in one country, you move to another country and you exploit that labor and you strip mine all the land and all that stuff, right? It's always about expansion. Bookchin called it the grow or die imperative, that every capitalist business has to continue to grow, always get more and more profits and resources and produce more and all this stuff. And of course, that's not sustainable. It's not sustainable for ecological reasons. You're hurting the planet. You might run out of resources and all. It's not sustainable for humanitarian reasons. You're taking advantage of people and harming people and communities. Capitalism always inevitably ends up in crisis. And if we're not addressing crisis correctly, capitalism can decay into fascism. And unfortunately, we're seeing signs of this in the US right now. So I think it's important to point that out, that folks in history, for example, Clara Zetkin wrote The Struggle Against Fascism about 100 years ago, which talked about fascism as an expression of the decay and disintegration of capitalist economy and a symptom of the bourgeois state, the wealthy people essentially's dissolution. When they begin to lose power because they're failing to meet the needs of the people, right? You end up in this scary time where fascism can grow, because the fascism is essentially extreme capitalism that begins to feed on, racism and xenophobia and misogyny and transphobia, homophobia, all these things, because it's looking for someone to blame. It's looking for someone to say, this is the reason that we're poor now. When the real answer is capitalism itself. That's the reason you're poor. We have to change capitalism. But if you don't recognize that capitalism is the problem, you start to look for scapegoats. And that's unfortunately the path that fascism leads down. So we have to also consider, I think, in our analysis of capitalism and why we need socialism, what the scary alternatives to socialism could be if we don't organize for socialism today. And, this is a big one.